Hello students, today in this video I am going to teach standard 4 S.st chapter 5 motions of the earth. Now it's a very common experience with all of us that we have traveled to some of the other place, either by bus or train. But while traveling we have always experienced that the object outside moves. But it is so? No. Actually, we are sitting on a moving object, that's why we feel that the object outside is moving. Likewise, the earth, it moves, keeps moving 24 hours. And there are two movements of the earth, that is rotation and revolution. But do we realize that? Do you feel shaky while standing, while walking, while running? No. That's still. The ground beneath our feet is still. But the fact is the earth keeps moving 24 hours, okay, and with the two movement of the earth, that is called rotation and revolution. Now one by one we will see about these movements. First one is rotation. What is rotation? The movement of the earth on its own axis from west to east is called rotation. Now I'll explain you with the help of a diagram of earth. This is the earth, suppose, and this is the earth axis, that is inclined. It's not perpendicular, it is inclined, means it is a bit tilted. This is called inclination of earth's axis. Inclination of earth's axis. Okay, this is the north pole and this is the south pole. This is the equator, 0 degree. Equator at 0 degree. This equator divides the earth into two halves. That is, the northern is north pole, northern hemisphere, and second is the southern hemisphere. So this is northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, and this part, the lower part, is called the southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere. As you can see, now the northern part, one more imaginary line passes, that is called Tropic of Capricorn. This line is called Tropic of Cancer, not Capricorn. And in the southern part, one more imaginary line runs, that is called Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn. To the extreme north, there is one more imaginary line at 66.5 degree north, that is called Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle. And this, towards the south pole, there is Antarctic Circle. Antarctic Circle. That is also 66.5 degree south. This Tropic of Cancer is at 23.5 degree north, whereas Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degrees south. So this is the basic drawing that you must know about the earth. Okay, this the basic where the Tropic of Cancer occurs, where the Tropic of Capricorn where the Tropic of Capricorn passes at which degree Tropic of Capricorn passes, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. And this is the earth axis, that is very important. Based on this, there are so many phenomena take place. Okay, this is called inclination of the earth's axis, and this only divides the earth into two halves. Now what is rotation then? On this axis only the earth keeps moving, it is tilted and it keeps moving from west to east. So what we can define rotation as? Rotation as the daily spinning movement of the earth on its own axis from west to east. From west to east is called rotation. So daily spinning movement of the earth on its own axis, this is the own axis, from west to east is called rotation. Now one complete rotation the earth takes 24 hours. Exactly if we say that is 23 hours, 56 minutes and 6 seconds. This much exact time takes, which is 24 hours, that is equals to 1 day. So 1 day the earth takes, 24 hours it takes to complete one rotation, spinning on its own axis. Now suppose if this is the sun and the ray of the light falls, sun is moving, spinning, slanting, okay, and then the ray of light, sun rays falls on the earth, the part of the earth that receives the light is having a daytime. Suppose this is the part of the earth that this one half will get light, that will experience daytime. It will have a daytime, and the part of the earth that doesn't receive any light, receives light, will have nighttime. So what is that called? This is called circle of illumination that divides the earth, the lighted part of the earth from the darker part of the earth. That is called circle of illumination. Circle of illumination that divides. Okay. Now basically, so we can say that rotation only brings about day and night. Day and night is caused, the effect of rotation is that it brings day and night. It causes day and night. But there are two reasons why day and night happens. First is the spherical shape of the earth. And second, importantly, the rotation of the earth on its own axis, tilted axis. Okay, so these two reasons are there what brings, that causes day and night. Now second movement of the earth is called revolution. So what is revolution? Revolution is also a movement of the earth around the sun. It cycles the sun on its own axis, but again revolution is cycling the sun, taking round of the sun. So revolution is the movement of the earth around the sun on its own orbit. On its own orbit, that is called revolution. So movement of the earth, movement of the earth on its own axis, around the sun. This is called revolution. Now if you remember solar system, so if this is the sun and different planets are there, okay, these are the orbits, a fixed path on which they revolve around the sun. Sun is always fixed, sun never moves from its place. Thing is that planets moves around the sun. Earth having its own axis, so it moves, it does movement twice. One is rotation and second is revolution. So near to sun is Mercury, Venus, and third is Earth. And this is the orbit, fixed path on which the Earth moves around the sun. Okay. Now this Earth takes 1 year, that is 365 and 1/4 of the day, to complete one revolution. That is equal to, if we say that is 65 hours, 365 hours, 48 minutes and 46 seconds to complete one revolution in a year, that means. So this extra hours and minute, that is, 365 days, not hours, 365 days, 5 hours. So it takes 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes and 46 seconds to complete one revolution. Now you can see this extra hours, minutes and second. This actually becomes 1 day, that is 24 hours at the end of in the 4th year. That's why every 4th years we experience leap year. Okay, leap year means having the day, having this already I explained in the previous chapter. Leap year means the year having 366 days and February having 29 days. That's a leap year. And to find the leap year, you can divide by 4. It is evenly divided, means it's a leap year. If not, means it's not a leap year. So we can divide this. So the 4th year, this becomes one day, that is 24 hours, and that one day gets added, and the year having 366 days. I hope you understood. This is already explained. So this is revolution. Now what is the effect of revolution? The effect of revolution is that it brings about change in the seasons. Now different seasons we experience the whole year, like summer, winter, spring and autumn. So this is because of the effect of revolution. As the sun keeps rotating plus revolving, the rays of the sun that falls on the earth is different at different times. Okay, so the rays of the sun, that the part of the earth that receives more light, more sun rays, gets summer. The part that is away from the sun gets winter. The part which is moderate, not far, not near, that will experience spring or autumn. So this is all about rotation and revolution. Next word is dawn and dusk. If you understand this word, you come across in your book, dawn and dusk. Now what is dawn and dusk? This is dawn, these two words. Actually it's a twilight, we also say twilight. It's the time when the night diffuses, the light of night diffuses with the daytime. Okay, day. Night and day diffusion is called the twilight, and this occurs every day 2 times. What is dawn? Dawn is means the end of night and beginning of a day, but before sunrise. Okay, and what is dusk? Is the end of sunset and the beginning of the night. The sun sets and the beginning of a night, that time is called dusk. Again, there is also light diffusing of 2 times, that is the day and night. So that is dusk. Now next is equinox. Equinox. Now what is equinox? Equinox means equal day and night. Equinox means equal day and night. Day and night. Now this also occurs twice in a year. Okay, that is on 21st March and 23rd September. Now 21st March that occurs is called spring equinox. Spring equinox. And what occurs on 23rd September is called autumn equinox. Autumn equinox. These are 2 of equinoxes that occurs every year. And so what is the spring and autumn? Suppose this is the earth. 2 equinox. Let me explain with the help of a diagram. Suppose this is the earth and this is the sun. Okay. This is having an inclined axis, as you know. This is the equator. First half is this North Pole. First is the northern hemisphere. Second is this side is the South Pole, southern hemisphere. This is the North Pole, northern hemisphere. We also say this is the equator. This is the North Pole, and this is the South Pole. That is the southern hemisphere. When the ray and it is moving, when the ray of the light falls on 21st March, it will experience 21st March. This side, northern hemisphere, will experience spring. Spring equinox. Spring equinox means equal day and night. The length of the night and day will be equal. Whereas in the southern hemisphere will experience autumn. Vice versa happens when on 23rd September. When on 23rd September, this northern hemisphere will experience autumn. That is autumn equinox. Equal day and night. And the southern hemisphere will experience spring. Okay. When this northern hemisphere, the spring equinox and the autumn equinox, the temperature is very moderate. It's not very hot. It's not very cool. Okay. So these 2 equinoxes occurs on 21st March and 23rd September. Now the next word that we come across is solstice. Solstice. And on this equinoxes, the equator on the sun rays fall directly on the equator when equinoxes occurs. Now solstice. Now what is solstice? When the sun rays fall either of the tropics, that either on Tropic of Cancer or on Tropic of Capricorn. Either of the tropics. Now this solstice occurs twice a year. That is on 21st June and 22nd December. On these. So what falls on 21st June is summer solstice. Summer solstice. And what occurs on 22nd December is winter solstice. Winter solstice. Now let me explain with the help of a drawing diagram that what is these solstice. Suppose this is the Earth and this is the Sun. This is the Earth. You know, this is the axis. Earth having its own axis. This is North Pole. This is South Pole. Again here, North and South Pole. This is the equator. This is the equator. Here I told it is Tropic of Cancer is on the upper part in the northern hemisphere, that is Tropic of Cancer. And here you will find, in the southern hemisphere, you will find Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. So when the ray of the light falls on the earth on 21st September, this Tropic of Cancer is tilted toward the sun. So this will receive more sun rays. So what will happen on this day? This will experience summer. The northern hemisphere will experience summer that time on 21st June, and the northern hemisphere will experience, and on 21st June it will have a maximum. Is the day will be longer and the night will be shorter on this day. And when the ray of light falls on Tropic of Cancer, that only brings the northern hemisphere will experience summer solstice. Summer solstice. Okay, on summer solstice. And what about the Arctic Circle? The Arctic Circle in summer solstice and the northern hemisphere will have 24 hours of daylight for 6 months continuous, and the vice versa will happen in the southern hemisphere. Okay, this will experience darkness for 6 months, South Pole, the southern hemisphere. The next is what we call winter solstice. This occurs on 22nd December. On this, you will find that a sun ray, since it is tilted this way, the lower part, that is southern hemisphere, now gets more of sunlight. Okay, maximum sunlight. This falls on the Tropic of Capricorn. So what will happen? This will have summer, whereas the northern hemisphere will have experience winter solstice. Winter solstice. And this in the southern hemisphere will have a summer, will experience summer, and this Antarctic Circle will have 24 hours of daylight for 6 months. 24-hour daylight for 6 months. 6 months, and vice versa will happen in the northern hemisphere. It will have darkness. This Arctic Circle at the extreme of North Pole will experience darkness for 24 hours for 6 months. So this is all the concept. And summer solstice, northern hemisphere gets the direct sun rays on Tropic of Cancer, it falls, and in winter solstice, Tropic of Capricorn gets the maximum sun rays, falls on Tropic of Capricorn, and it has summer, and the North Pole will have winter solstice. Okay, so this is all about the movement of the earth. We have come to the end of this chapter. I hope you have understood the chapter. Please go through the videos and study material. So thank you for watching.